Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Em, and today we're gonna start a reading vlog, but it's a challenge reading vlog. So if you were here last year, then you will be familiar with my obsession with reading down my physical TBR. I was maybe hyperfixated on it last year and having a monthly self-destructing TBR to really get myself to prioritize my TBR. And I'm not doing it that way this year, but I do still want to continue to whittle down the books that I own but haven't read yet. But I wanted to find some more creative ways to go about it in 2024. So for this vlog, I'm going to be reading my highest rated book and the lowest rated book on my TBR. So I don't use Goodreads, I use Storygraph, and unfortunately Storygraph doesn't have a feature where it lets you sort by average rating, so I had to do it the hard way, which is fine. I only had, 70 something books, so if I'd had 300, that would have been a different story. And we're gonna start off with the highest rated book on my TBR because honestly I put myself into a reading slump and I need something that is going to make it better. So we're going to go with the highest rated book. This book's average rating is a 4.52. It's middle grade, and I technically bought it for my oldest last June, but she hasn't picked it up yet, so I am stealing it and I am going to be reading it. And it is Sir Callie and the Champions of Helston by Esme Symes Smith. I have to double check on if that's how you say the author's last name, but this is middle grade, and this is like Alana walked so this book could run type of story. So this is about Sir Callie who wants to be a knight, and from what I understand, Sir Callie is non-binary, but the world just sees them as a girl, is what I understand. I have heard only praise about this book from friends in real life, from booksellers I know. Anybody that I know who has read this book has absolutely loved it, so it gives me high hopes that I will also love it. I have access to the audiobook from my library. I've been hoarding it on Libby for a while, and I'm so excited to finally be reading this book, and I hope it's as wonderful as I want it to be. Is basically what we're going with. So it says, in the start to an epic series packed with action, humor, and heart, Callie and their new friends quickly find themselves embedded in an ancient war, and their only hope to defeat the dragons outside the kingdom lies in first defeating the bigotry within. I'm so excited. Alright, let's just read it.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain.
Hi y'all, happy Valentine's Day to those that acknowledge this day. I am 125 pages into Sir Callie, and the author had a little note at the beginning kind of talking about what Callie's going to go through, and they were not joking when they said that this book does not shy away from queerphobia, because holy moly does Callie really get put through it. And I'm only maybe a third of the way in, and it is rough. It is all very accurately done, but it's rough. It's rough for me to read. So we can do one of two things. I can avoid it because it's making me sad and I don't like feeling sad, and then it'll take me forever to read. Or I can just keep reading it and not give myself a chance to back off from it. I don't know if that makes sense. If I put off reading a book because the content is hard, then that feeling just grows, and then I just more and more don't want to read the book. But if I just keep reading it, then most of the time I'm fine. So that's the plan. As you saw, it is a very, very gloomy day outside, and I am loving it. So I did have a busy morning. We had late start today, and then I had to run to work so fast. And I taught, and then I went to the gym. I actually had a really great workout, which is so nice because I haven't been on the struggle bus with exercise lately, but that felt so good. And then I got Chipotle for lunch as a treat because I got paid yesterday and I haven't had Chipotle in forever. And now I think we're just gonna cozy up. I'm gonna put on a background and I'm gonna see how much I can read in the hour and 7 minutes I have before I have to go pick up my youngest from school. Oh, but I'm supposed to tell you about this book so far. Callie lives in like this medieval commune style situation with their two dads. Callie and their birth dad have run away from their mother, who was not good for either of them. But now their dad is in a new relationship, and Callie refers to both men as their dad. They live in this commune with their dads, and Callie really wants to be a knight. And in this world, the gender norm is that girls have magic and boys train to be knights. And the believed reason that girls have magic is because it's the only way they can have any strength. But Callie really wants to be a knight, and their dads are super supportive of that, and that's great. But their birth dad used to be the king's champion, and then all this drama went down with the royal family, and he left. But a messenger comes that says he is needed back at the palace to help train the late king's son so that he is ready to be king. And so Callie basically strong arms their dad into taking them with him. And they get to the capital, to the palace, and those gender roles are entrenched so deep, and Callie starts being misgendered right away, called by the wrong name right away. Nobody is interested in listening to Callie or their dad when either of them correct somebody on what Callie's name is. And so that kind of blatant disregard is really rampant. And if you have a non-binary person in your life, it will all feel really familiar, and especially if you are a parent for a non-binary kiddo. It is very, very accurate, which would make sense because the author is also non-binary, so like they know what they're talking about. So anyways, it's very good. I really like the writing. It does tip into very earnest every once in a while, which is, I think, to be expected in middle grade. Sometimes it tips a little too far for me, but then it course corrects pretty fast. But that would be my only complaint so far. But the writing's really good. I really like the characters. I really like how Callie is written. I really like the messages and the themes. And I'm really excited to figure out, I think I know who their friends are going to be, but I'm not 100% certain yet. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago.
I finished Sir Callie this morning, and I ended up liking this a whole lot. I'm gonna reiterate, it is heavy. The plot of this book is specifically changing the kingdom's mindset about people who don't fit the mold. So there is a lot of bigotry, there's a lot of queerphobia, there's a lot of misgendering, there's a lot of just not fun things. But I really liked the writing. I really liked the kids. I thought the kid characters were so well written. I wanted to drop kick every single grown-up out the window. Like, even the ones who are the good guys and who are not horrible still fail these kids pretty severely in my mind. So that's hard, and I you know, middle grade, that's kind of how it goes sometimes because the kids need to save themselves in these books. But even Callie's dads, who are supposed to be really supportive and understanding and are supposed to like get it. I mean, one of them, I feel like he spectacularly fails Callie in this book, but I ended up giving it 4.25, again, just because it's so heavy. I know a couple of 11-year-olds who really love this book. I know a couple of adults who really love this book, but I would just caution that know the headspace you are in before you pick this up. I ended up reading this really fast because kind of what I was saying yesterday about almost wanting to put it off because it has heavy content. And when that happens, I can either read a book really slow and drag it out, or I can blast through it super fast, and it's like kind of like ripping off a band-aid. Like if I do it fast, it's better for me. So I read it really fast and I did like it a lot. I can definitely see why this is so highly rated. I also want to amend something I said in an earlier clip. I think I said something like Alana walked so this could run. I'm gonna take that back because I still think Alana is a better book overall, but you can 100% see like the influence Alana has had on the readers who grew up with that story. Anyways, so it was great. I liked it a lot. Okay, the time has come to start the next book in this challenge, and the lowest rated book on my TBR is The Noble Hustle by Colson Whitehead. This has an average rating of 3.32 stars, so not horrible, but not great. I read chapter 1 already, which was about 25 pages, so these chapters aren't short, but also this book isn't very long, so I think I'll be okay. I'll make it through. And this is nonfiction about when a magazine gave Colson Whitehead how much money? $10,000 to play at the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas, and so he had to learn how to play poker. And from reading the first chapter, I can get why, oh my gosh, that noise is gonna bug me so much. I can get why maybe this book didn't work for people, because while I get the tone he is going for in the first chapter, but the tone he's using in this book, it is either going to work for you or it is going to be really off-putting. Right now it is working for me, but it could feel maybe overwritten, I think, if you're not into the style, the tone, the voice he is using. But I really like Colson Whitehead. I have read Underground Railroad and The Nickel Boys and gave them both 5 stars, and I've heard him in interviews before. I really love listening to him talk about his writing process. Oh, I need to keep that beat in the front. And I have this because my friend Christine on Instagram, like this is one of her, or was one of her favorite books at the time that I bought it. It's been on my TBR for a very long time. Like I was still, oh my gosh, this bead on the end of my bookmark is gonna drive me nuts. I'm just gonna take it out. I'm gonna hold my place. What was I saying? Oh, I bought this when I was still a bookseller, which at this point was at least 3 years ago, which is wild. It feels like I just stopped working at the bookstore like yesterday. So anyways, I've had it for a while is what I'm trying to say. I'm digging it so far, and I will update as I go. So far in the first chapter, he is on his way to Atlantic City to kind of do like practice round, and he's just talking about where he is in his life. Like he's just recently divorced from his wife, and so he has joint custody of his kids, so he's not seeing his daughter as often as he's used to. And then he's also explaining poker and how betting works and what all the different terms mean. And not all the different terms, but like some of the terms, which is great because I know nothing about poker. So it's super helpful because I know nothing other than that. It involves cards and betting money. That's it. That's the extent of my knowledge. So maybe I'll learn something. Who knows? And now I think we're backtracking to Colson Whitehead getting the offer from the magazine to go play in the World Series and write about the experience. That's all I got for now. See you later. So I'm sick
and I stayed home from work today, and I just finished The Noble Hustle, and I thought I could come on here and talk about it, but clearly I did not look at my face beforehand. So for now, I'm just gonna say I finished it. I'm giving it 3 stars. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Okay, I will come back and tell y'all why in like a second for you, but tomorrow for me. Okay, I don't necessarily feel better. I think I sound worse. Maybe I look better? Who knows? But we need to bring this vlog to an end. So let's talk about The Noble Hustle by Colson Whitehead. Like I said yesterday, I'm giving it a 3. And I think this suffered from Colson Whitehead trying to be too clever, because at the beginning of the book he has a definition for something called anhedonia, the inability to experience pleasure, and throughout the book he references anhedonia as a place and himself as a resident of this place, which was weird. It was weird, and it felt kind of self-indulgent, and I felt like it was suffering from almost being overwritten, which is weird because it's not a long book. But yeah, I think I would have been more interested if it was a little more sincere and a little less like, I'm going to talk about my insecurities, but I'm going to like put a veil of humor over them so that I don't have to feel them as much, if that makes sense. And yeah, I just think the gimmicks he had going on in here got in the way of him just telling this story. And those are my thoughts. I get this having a lower rating. It does make sense after, you know, finally having read it. I also, after the fact, saw that this is considered satire, and I do know that satire does not work for me most of the time. While I try not to take myself too seriously, I find that I do take other people fairly seriously, and so satire, oftentimes, just, I'm not the right reader for it. It misses the mark when I'm reading it. That is my review. That is the end of this vlog. Sorry we're going out on such a downer. I would love to hear what you think of these 2 books, if you've read either of them, if you feel like you want to read them after seeing this video. I think I'm too out of it to be doing an outro, so I'm just gonna go, and if you want to leave emoji to let me know you're here, let's do a sword emoji or a knife or some sort of stabby thing for Callie. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye!